Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is 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 extremely dangerous to our democracy.
What's up, Internet? It's Mike Ball here. We're live with special guest, mainstream gone independent journalist Dave Bondy. How you doing, Dave?
Good. Just hurtful, not hurtful, bad to watch, disgusting.
Yeah, I love that clip because when that came out, everybody was saying the same thing, and you're watching that, you're like, wait, this is pretty scripted. And then I was like, oh, there's Dave Bondy. You were like in the little corner. I was like, I know that guy. He's on Fox News.
First, I've never really. I tweeted about it, and but I never discussed it publicly. I tweeted about it because Elon Musk put a video up of it, and then I responded to Elon Musk, and he responded to me, and he said something like, that's BS or whatever. But I never really explained what happened with that. If you want to, I can.
Yeah, I'm infatuated with that clip because this was a time where, this was like the COVID time when all the people were like, what's going on? Or is this a little bit before then?
Yeah, it was even before then. And I was at the TV station, and many times they have us do promotions for events or whatever, and they have us read something. And if you listen to what we say, what it says, the words aren't that, we don't believe in fake news. We believe in real news. A lot of the words that we said it made sense. But what I didn't know is that the company, Sinclair Broadcasting, that I work for, they were having every anchor at all 80 of their stations read the same exact thing. And if I would have known that, well, I wouldn't have done it. But also, if I would have, I had just started working there when this happened. So if I would have had to reflect on it again, I wouldn't have done that, read it. It wasn't really bad because it had said we believe in, real news and not being biased. But the fact that all 80 stations read the same thing, and I think it was first put together by Deadspin. I think they're the ones who did the video. It was a great editing job, great video with editing. But the fact that the company that I work for put me in that position was not a good thing. And even years after that, I just continued to kind of sour against that company, but also TV news in general kind of went down after that. And I would just regret that I was put in that position. And if I wouldn't have done it, I probably would have been fired. And I had just moved to Flint. So I'm the main breadwinner in the family here. And I didn't want to lose my job right away. But I did leave eventually. We'll get to that. So I had been working on what I'm doing now. I've been working on a plan for like 4 years to get out finally.
Yeah, that clip almost seemed Orwellian. Like it was like everybody's getting the same news. This is that word about the democracy, like the threat against democracy. When it's like everybody's reading that same part, it's almost kind of scary.
that was stupid. That was utterly stupid. But especially now, all the stations are reading the same thing. When I worked at NBC 25 and Fox 66, now that they've laid off so many people, they have one reporter to cover all the news. So most of the stuff you see on all the stations, it comes from CNN, it comes from the Associated Press. So literally, if you go to any city, you're going to see probably the anchor, the same stories being read, because companies are laying off people left and right. They're not doing local news anymore. They're just giving you stuff from Washington or CNN. Honestly, a lot of the video and scripts are from CNN, but they don't tell you they're from CNN.
So here, and I like what you're doing because you kind of went on your own. And I'm an independent man myself. I do a lot of independent stuff, and I like that you're saying, "Hey, I'm gonna bring the people the news." You said fair, balance. Nobody's telling you what to say. I do like it. Here's a kind of an explanation from your YouTube of what you got going on, so people can know that you are running your own, basically independent news organization, keeping it real with Dave Bondy, and you're covering the area of mid-Michigan.
I am, and I'm doing that, but it's not. I was making very good money at the TV station, so I am doing other things until this can take off big time. Doing some social media for companies around town. I am working in Midland for a nonprofit, doing social media for them. So in order to get this going, and I still might do some of those things, but yeah, it's not cheap to do this and to have insurance. So I'm doing a lot of different stuff right now, but I'm still happier than I was doing TV. But yeah, I do 2 shows a week, Sunday and Thursday, on this platform called Locals. And the reason I'm on that, it's a subscription-based thing, but they have no censorship. And you as a comedian, yeah, you could go on there and swear all you want and they won't take you down. That's amazing. Because on Facebook or TikTok, you gotta be so careful. You say the wrong thing and you're taken down. So yeah.
Yeah, or you get shadow banned, you don't even know it, and you're like, oh, okay, why am I not reaching nobody? And
exactly, on this Locals platform, there's no algorithm, so that works. But if you have like a couple 100,000 followers, it might not be as good because I don't know, it might be good because everyone will see your stuff, which I think that's how it should be. But I know with Twitter or X or whatever, there's so many fake accounts. That's probably a lot of the problem too.
yeah, I see you on X, and you're working hard. You're putting your stuff up, and I see you trying to get Elon Musk to share your independent journalism.
I
love
figure hell, I might as well, because I figured, yeah, like he commented on one thing I did and it went well. I don't agree with him on everything at all, but he took a risk to buy X and Twitter. He's not making money on it. He's losing a boatload of money. But I believe, whether you believe with what he believes or not, I believe free speech is the best. And yeah, I think it's great what he's doing.
Did you feel that mainstream media, it wasn't free speech on there? Like, you don't think that you were able to put your view out honestly, or were you like, how do you feel about that?
I would say big corporations own the media. And for example, on my level, at the local level, we were never allowed to do stories that were possibly going to get us sued. So the stories back in the day where, you see a reporter going after a slumlord or someone that has a slumlord, or some bad story to chase down an official, a lot of the TV stations and media got away from that because they were scared of being sued. And there were many situations where we just wouldn't do those stories. I've had people come to me, and during the pandemic, there were times when I wasn't allowed to do certain stories because it would upset maybe the governor, or it would upset the state officials. And now a lot of the media people, they don't want to do those, because then if you piss off Governor Whitmer, she's not going to want to talk to the station anymore. So they play nice with them. That's what we got, kind of. And I don't care. I went after Governor Snyder. I'll go after Republican and Democrat. But the stations don't want to say something really bad against them. I remember I did a story during COVID, and I wanted to know, when someone dies of COVID, what else do they have? Do they have certain comorbidities, or leukemia, because Michigan doesn't keep track of that. Other states do. And the state called my boss trying to get me in trouble the next day. So it's really tough. Like Elon, I don't agree with Elon Musk that everyone is a journalist. That's not true. You can't just put stuff on the internet. Like I can't put stuff about you on the internet and say, you're having a relationship with a horse or something. That's slander. So I don't agree with Elon Musk that everyone can be a journalist just because they have a phone. There are ethics and morals that go along with it, and you can't accuse people of doing stuff. But I wasn't allowed to push things that far, though.
Yeah, so I mean, because that was like Elon's whole thing was that there was not actual free speech on Twitter, now X. It was that there was. It was basically.
You're right on Twitter and app. That is the big case because my belief is that you should be allowed to say what you want as long as it's not illegal. But, and this may be up to the courts to decide, but it like my Facebook, your Facebook, I have the right, you have the right to block whoever you want to block. But I know the argument with Elon is people say that since X or Facebook is so big, it's almost like a government entity that they shouldn't be allowed to block anyone and censor anyone. It's tough because, I always say if someone wants to say the earth is flat, I don't care. Go ahead. I know you're wrong, but you have a right to say it.
Yeah. And that was kind of like the whole, when X was on there and then everybody was just getting banned. A lot of right-wing people were getting banned. That's what you're saying is everybody should be able to talk, not just one side. And that was his whole thing.
Alex Jones, he allowed him back on Twitter. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Alex Jones. Yeah.
He's
hilarious.
He's kind of out there. He's out there, and he has said and done some horrible things. But I believe in free speech. If you don't like them, block them. If you don't like me, block me. I don't care.
So what do you think if the biggest difference between being an anchor for Fox 66 and then being an independent journalist? Is there a story that you're like most proud of that you wouldn't be able to put on Fox that you have on your Keeping It Real channel?
I would say it's like going in depth on things. I've done stories. I broke a story about a woman had her kid in a thrift store in Sandusky, Michigan, very rural area. This worker there tried to kidnap her kid. And then we found out that the guy had tried to do the same thing a year ago at the movie theater near the Fashion Square Mall. There's a movie theater over there. And so we broke that story. But I was able to spend a whole hour with the mom and talking, because when you do TV news, they allow you to maybe do 2 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
So that's why I like what you're doing in this. It allows me to take the time. Like Joe Rogan, he'll go 3 hours with someone if he wants to.
Yeah.
But TV news, they won't allow that. And I remember the consultants always telling me, why is Joe Rogan so popular? People have short attention spans, but they don't. He gets millions of people watching and listening.
Yeah. So wait, first of all, I love Sandusky, Michigan. So what happened? This lady had a baby in the.
Well, yeah, it was like I think her 8-year-old girl actually, and they were at some thrift store, and she was in the store. The mom turned her back to get something on the shelf, and this guy grabbed the girl, dragged her in the bathroom, and who knows what he was going to do with her. But the mom knew the girl was missing and found out and went off on the guy and yelled at him. And turns out he was a little mentally unstable, but he had done the same thing a year ago in Saginaw, and the judge had let him off with no jail time. So that's how I was able. And then the other stations did the story, but I was able to. And then in the Sandusky, they didn't charge the guy even with a felony. But after I did the story and put it out there, they upped the charges to a felony charge, because if you grab the kid and pull the kid into the bathroom, that's a serious crime.
Okay, so two parts. At first, I thought you said that she had the baby, like she had a baby at Salvation Army, and I was like, that's very Sandusky, and I love it. I love Sandusky. Number two is so that'd be the difference. There is like, you're holding people accountable, and maybe the news station wouldn't have wanted to ruffle the feathers of somebody who, who's just doing their job, and maybe they didn't give them a tough enough sentence, and then all of a sudden, in hindsight, they're like critical towards the whoever that is.
Day, for example, the Michigan State University mass shooting. That guy that did it probably should have never legally been able to have a gun. The prosecutor, he was arrested years ago with gun charges, felonies. They dropped them all. And there was a few reporters that did it. But back in the day, I did it for 25 years. When I first started, it was encouraged in college and by my bosses when I first started, go after everybody, to be fair, obviously. But if an official doesn't want to answer your questions, back when I started, and I remember in North Carolina where I worked, I would grab the microphone, I'd go to the mayor's office, I'd walk in his office with the camera rolling, and hey, dude, you're ignoring me. Let's talk. Yeah, that's frowned upon now by a lot of managers. They don't like that.
They don't want the hard hitting Dave Bondy. They want to keep it soft on you here. Hey, we got some people here.
Yeah, and that's because they don't want to upset the mayor, because then the mayor won't talk to the TV station again.
And yeah, definitely people want to hear they want to hear the mayor. So if you guys are watching and you guys are wondering to get these stories Dave Bondy puts out, this is his website, davebondy.locals.com. Keep it there, keeping it real with Dave Bondy. All of his stories are on there. He's doing independent journalism. And that's pretty good. If you guys have any questions for Dave, comment and like. We have a few comments here. Monica, what's up? She said, hi, Mike Ball. Merry Christmas. Love you. Thanks for popping in. What's up, baller? Scooter from Ohio, you owe me $3. You better give me that. Yeah, he lost the Ohio State Michigan game bet right there. I told him I'm gonna put a lien on his house if he doesn't pay me here soon. Mike, this is usually a comedy channel here. Poo poo caca. Okay, Mike. Did OJ do it? Here's a question for Dave Bondy. Did OJ do it?
That's a good question, because, okay, and I use this example a lot. OJ if I was on the air speaking, no, OJ did not commit a crime. In reality, yeah, he killed his wife and Ron Goldman. Absolutely, he did. Now he'll probably sue me right now for saying that, but you have to go. Being a journalist, I have to presume goodwill. I have to presume innocence, even in the toughest situation, like the Oxford school shooting. Ethan Crumbley, when he first was arrested and it was on camera, we had to say, he's accused of doing it because he hasn't been found guilty in a court of law. So I always have to preface it by saying, yeah, OJ probably in my mind and many people's probably did it. In a court of law, he didn't do it. That's why a lot of times people don't like it when I say, this person's accused of this, or even if someone's on camera shooting someone, because I've done it before. I've done cases where there's been a video of a guy shooting someone and they found him not guilty in a court of law. And actually, I would say, he's alleged of doing it. And another reporter at another station said he did it. The guy sued that reporter and won $5 million. So that's why
shit.
You got to be so careful. And then I always think if it was me and if jury found me not guilty of whatever, but the OJ thing was, I don't think OJ is going to come after me. So, but yeah, I think we know the truth on that one probably.
Nicole says she loves real stories. Shout out to Nicole. And Melissa Ann says, hey guys, here we go.
Hey Melissa.
You've been an anchor for 25 years. What do you think your most, like, what was a story that was like that maybe captured your heart or was like really interesting to you that maybe people don't know that you reported on it or?
Well, it's probably I forget what her name just said, the real stories, whoever just commented on that. It's more the real stories. It's the average. Yeah, Nicole, it's the real people. It's the woman in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania who lost her house. Her dog died and her dog didn't die. She lost her house. And a week later, I did a story. She found her dog. It's little things like that. And the bigger things, like when I worked at WNEM in Saginaw way back in the day. Tigers were in the World Series. I got to go to the game and all that was cool. I interviewed Trump twice. That was cool. Bill Clinton, interviewed him. All those things are fun, but it's seeing the real people, but also getting an inside look, like going right up to Air Force One and the things like going in the locker room after a Major League Baseball game, or being in the press box at Ford Field. It's those little things that are cool that not everyone gets to do. So that's kind of seeing the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a good life to be. Mike says OJ's coming for you. Hopefully not there, Mike. Maggie Zimmerman throwing some stars up there. Scooter, rural dating is crazy. He knows, he's out there in Ohio. If you guys have any questions for Dave, type them in. Go ahead. What?
I can't imagine dating nowadays. I don't know. I did just yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's gotta be tough out there. I do a lot of crowd work about people dating, and they always they're finding each other at the bars. Well, at my show, anyways. Did Cosby do it? Here's one, Jake. That's what
Cosby. Was he found guilty and then they overturned it? Was that, I forget, was that what they with his
I
case?
can't remember. I don't know if he's. I think he's still in there.
Yeah, but and this goes to another thing too. Everyone always says, "I want the truth. I want the truth." Well, the truth with Cosby back in the day is he was the American dad. He was the man. He was the cool dude. And the truth is, no, he wasn't. He was a pervert, maybe. So we don't know what we don't know. Allegedly, we don't know what the truth is a lot of times, and that's what people say to me. Well, give me the truth. I'm like, as a reporter, I think my job is to give you the information. Like, if I go to a car accident in Saginaw, I pull up on the scene as a reporter. I'll interview the police. I'll interview a witness, interview another witness, and then I go on TV and tell you what they all say. And then it's your job to decide. I think it's wrong when CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they try to tell you what to think. No one gives a crap on what the person on TV thinks. Just give me the damn news. That's what it's about.
Here we go. We got some interesting. Here's breaking news. Girls don't love boys who watch Pornhub.
I don't know about that. I don't know. What's Pornhub? I have no idea what that is.
Your wife's watching right now? Yeah, I don't know what Pornhub. What is that?
I have no clue. No clue.
Here we go. Trevor Prue, he's talking about good old Bill Clinton. He's plenty of fish. Pond is murky, and I've caught my quota of catfish and suckers. Oh yeah.
I like the show Catfish. Yeah.
Have you ever did a story on somebody catfishing anybody maybe around?
I don't think so. No, most of the stories I've done have been a lot of older men going online to get younger teens and having them sneak out of their bedroom, and then they arrest a lot of perverts, but no like legitimate.
No catfishers?
No, not really.
A lot of perverts like freaking Melissa Ann with their Pornhub account.
Yeah.
How many words can you type a minute? Mike Martin, this is a breaking. This is good. I like this. You guys are doing a great job out there, by the way. Keep asking questions for Dave or for
bring on questions. Share this video, everybody. I just shared this on X, so hopefully that'll help. I don't know. I'm more of the hunt and peck guy, and I think I do it really fast. I don't even know how many words. I know I thank God for the autocorrect and what is it, Grammarly or whatever I have on the keyboard. And it's getting better too with AI. It like knows what I'm going to say, so it's helped.
That what got you into journalism? Is that something you always want to do when you were a kid, or did you do the school news? Were you on the broadcaster?
Yeah, when I was younger, I was into sports big time. I wanted to be a baseball player, but then in junior high, I realized I sucked, so I didn't continue playing anymore. And then I wanted to be a sports broadcaster doing sports. So when I was 17 years old, I was a clubhouse attendant, quote, bat boy for the Detroit Tigers. That was my first job, working for the Tigers.
Hey, that's awesome.
It was cool. And I went to Lakeland for a month with them. I got to meet a lot of the media, a lot of the sports media people. But then I realized it's really hard to get a job in sports media because there's not many of those jobs to be had. And I don't know a lot about, like, I know hockey. I don't know golf. I don't know a lot about all the sports, so I probably wouldn't have been good at it. And then I thought, what else can I do? And I liked breaking news. I liked, being on the scene of fires or I wasn't much of a feature news guy. I like being in the middle of the action. So I just transitioned to that, and it was kind of fun.
That's great. We got some great comments here.
Oh boy.
Jacob Reddy said he can do the investigative journalism on the whole Pornhub thing for you. Yeah, he's deep into the journalism. Jacob is. Here's a good question: is Epstein still alive?
No, right? But who killed him? Oh, I'm sorry, he committed suicide. No, I think he's dead. But today it came out that there's a judge in the first week of January is supposed to be releasing like 100 names of his associates. So
Oh yeah, I did see that.
We'll see if that really comes out or not, or who's on the list. But
We will.
that judge will end up dead probably in the next couple of weeks or so.
Well, isn't that kind of scary when you see something like that where there's a judge who's supposed to be supposed to be presiding over a case, and then they die, or their son dies, or like right before, and you're like, oh, that's quite interesting. And here's actually a good question right on this same thought we're having. Have you ever dug into something and then found it was a little bit too deep and you had to pull it back some?
Actually, since I've been independent, there's been many stories that I've spent a lot of time on, and then either in the middle of it or near the end, I find out that the person that I thought was guiding me in the right direction was either lying, or they did it for some other reason. But yeah, there's a lot of stories where I start digging into them, and I find out that, oh, okay, that person's not telling the whole truth, or it's totally not worthy of a story a lot of times. And that's where a lot of people get mad at me, because they'll message me and they'll want me to do a story the very next day. Like if someone says their landlord is stealing from them or something like that, I gotta say, well, do you have a police report? And then I gotta interview them and do this and that and that. And yeah, I don't do stories a lot of times, because just because something's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. And I find out stuff that people make up stuff a lot of times.
And on that note, we'll do a quick plug for a show. New Year's Eve, we're doing a show at the State Theater, 9 comics for $25. 100% of the tickets are going to 5 local causes. Check it out on my website, mikeball.com.com. Well, that's all we got to say about that. But that's a good story, and we'll just put that out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nine comic, $25.
Yep, and I mean everybody's donating their time, and this ain't one of those like where you send $2 to Malaysia and nobody ever gets it. You know what I mean? This is like actually 100% of the tickets. The theater costs paid by me. Everybody's donating their time. It's 100% to local causes. We got Veterans Coalition, Barb Smith Suicide Awareness, Volunteers Assisting the Disabled. What else? We got Alyssa's Animal Rescue, and Garber Essexville's athletic program. So if you guys want to get some tickets, 100% of that goes to local causes. But here we got a few more people. This is pretty good. Look at Mike Martinez is trying to get the login for Jacob.
Oh, for the Pornhub?
Yeah, look at there we go. And then Kathy Gray, she said, when the truth can unalive you. Is that something you're ever worried about? Is there anything that you've ever pushed where somebody like called you kind of like, this is you better stop saying?
Oh, I've had many death threats and have had to get police involved on things before. Yeah, there's lots of stories where people do not want things out there. I know in Pennsylvania when I worked there, there was someone that was shooting people on the highway, and before turning himself in, he ended up messaging me and wanted to talk to me or something. And yeah, there's some shady things out there, and it's sad because heck, even now on X or Facebook, everything, I could post a picture of a cute dog and someone will say I'm this or that, or why didn't you post a cat or something? People are nuts sometimes.
Isn't that is so true? I mean, you can't please everybody, and I don't like to look at the comments sometimes.
But
not on this show. These comments are pretty good. Here we go. Mike Martinez asked, could AI replace sports media?
Oh, good question. I was it a year ago? I forget. Maybe an NFL playoff game or something, or an MLB game. They did it with no announcers, and it was a little weird. But if you go to a bar or something, you don't have the sound up anyway. But when it comes to like local newscasts, I don't know. There actually is a company that just started local news in Europe or something with AI anchors, and you can't even tell that they're AI. They're like real. They look real. So
Isn't
yeah,
that
I guess
scary?
yeah, and they can. That's probably possible. But I like having. I mean, I'm old school. I'm 48 years old. Grew up in Metro Detroit. Ernie Harwell, announcer for the Tigers back in the day. I like that. But yeah, the AI thing. That's a whole other thing. That's little frightening.
That is super frightening because I've seen some of those deep fakes and they're pretty. I mean, usually you could tell a little bit, but like if you're just kind of scrolling, you're not really paying attention. Maybe it's been a long day, and you're like, oh, this could be real.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Here's a question from me. Is there any conspiracy theories that you might subscribe to?
I'm always interested in the Kennedy assassination. I think there's probably more to that. What I don't like is when everything is a conspiracy theory, and that just pisses me off because I forget who it was. Someone was 80 years old recently and they died, and someone said, "Oh, they died from the COVID vaccine." I'm like, they were 80 years old.
Yeah.
Or I worked in Pennsylvania, and there were people who said like the plane on 9/11 that crashed really didn't crash there. And I'm like, no, I worked with photographers who smelled the flesh and the so yeah, I believe in certain conspiracy theories are cool, but I think people who think everything is a conspiracy, they just need to back off a little bit. But once again, say what you want to say. But yeah, the Kennedy assassination, and who is really, I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but really in control of the government. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, President Biden right now is he really he's in control, he's the president, but are there people behind the scenes actually like making the decisions, stuff like that. I'm not into big conspiracies though.
Do you think that he's even like mentally capable right now, or is he like, I don't know, like sometimes I like hear him talking, I'm like, what is this guy talking about right here?
It's sad because my mom had Alzheimer's, and that's one reason why I moved back to the Flint area. And some what I see with him resembles like either dementia or Alzheimer's. And if it was me, I would never be working when I'm that age. I'd be sitting on the beach somewhere. I wouldn't be working. But I don't know. I guess I'd have to either meet him or be close to him. Like I said, I met Trump, and I know it was when he was running for president in 2016, and he was definitely on his game. But yeah, Biden, I don't know. I don't know.
It's almost like elder abuse at this point. He's
it's kind
pretty
of
old,
sad. It's sad.
and I don't know. And you're like, what is going on? He's like lost on the stage. He doesn't know which way he's going. But then you don't even know how much of that's edited because everything's like, just kind of like what they were like. Everything's edited and just takes into, you never even know what's real nowadays.
Yeah, and there was a news conference a couple of weeks ago where Biden started walking in the wrong direction, and they cut the feed because the White House does have control of, like, when there's a White House news conference, there's one network there, and all the other networks take the video, and I think the White House has the option to kill the feed. So, yeah.
Nicole thinks that he's AI, and then look at Dave. You got some fans here, right there.
No,
Dave looking sexy for 40 something. Oh yeah.
No, I went to the doctor today. I need to lose 30 pounds. I gotta lose 30 pounds. But thanks anyway.
Yeah. And then Jake's also asking, would you interview Alex Jones if you had the chance?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would call him out on some of the stuff. I think that's totally, stupid that he said. He's been right about things though as well. He has been right about things. I would interview
the frogs
him.
turning gay. The frogs.
Oh, that one is funny. The video, it's just so stupid. It's funny. It's like there's compilations of it that people made on Twitter or whatever. Yeah, I'd interview him. He probably wouldn't like me though, but I do give him credit for whatever. But a lot of the stuff he said with the Sandy Hook shooting, and I hope he regrets it because a lot of it was just stupid. But he's
Well,
right on some things, though. He's right on some things.
he's definitely regretting it because they banned him from everything and then sued him for how much money? I
Oh,
mean, I
he's
don't,
probably 700 million. I don't know, something like, who
that's
knows?
a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You got to be sad there.
Yeah.
Mike says all my managers, bosses have someone else making their decisions. That
Oh my
could be
God.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's pretty yeah, it's pretty interesting. If where do you see this going? Keeping it real with Dave Bondy. What would be your vision when it's all said and done? What do you hope to accomplish?
I would love to have enough paid subscribers to be able to do like a show 5 days a week and be able to travel the country. And I would love to, for example, like go to the southern border and spend a week and do stories and find out what's really going on. Go to, people say San Francisco is a hellhole. Well, I want to go see. Or just go and cover good stories as well, because I do positive things and try to highlight people doing positive things. But just doing this more so, because I'd have to buy more equipment and I spend a lot of time doing this as well. That would be the ultimate. That would be pretty cool to be able to do this 100% full time, because I still have 2 kids and a wife. So,
Yeah.
I got a little
Well,
while till I retire.
I like that angle of a positive news station where it's just the positive. You know what I mean? Just it doesn't have to be every day, but maybe just like one day of the week, like positive Tuesdays or something like that, where you're just
I
like,
Yeah, last Sunday or the Sunday before, I did a story with a guy that in Alabama, he started mowing lawns for free, and now he goes across the country mowing lawns and just doing stuff for elderly people. I just did a whole show on him. It was really cool. Just trying to realize that the world is not as crazy as we think. If you stay on X or Facebook and just read comments all day, you're going to think everyone is just swearing at each other. But if you go to the store, at least in our area, you're in mid-Michigan, I am too. People are opening the door for each other. People aren't slamming the door in your face. It happens, but the world's not as, I don't think we hate each other as much as the internet thinks we do.
I agree. I think it's better than what is portrayed for sure. And
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of like the news thing. The if it bleeds, it leads kind of mentality.
Yeah, I'm sure when you're doing your comedy, you might get a bad call. Have you ever been called out in the crowd by someone, or
Heckled? Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like
One of my
seriously heckled, like they were total being,
Oh yeah. I
idiots.
mean, yeah, watch some. Yeah, I got a bunch of clips of people
Okay.
telling me to go fuck myself. So it's pretty
Oh, okay.
funny. Yeah, it's. Let me see here. Oh my gosh, here we go. Look at this.
Oh boy.
If it bleeds, it leaves. It sounds like my ex-wife.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, canceled. You're canceled, Jake. Get out of here.
Jacob.
Any day. What up, Zay? Out of Saginaw, Michigan.
Hey.
Negatives always outweigh the positives when it comes to what is shown, which is unfortunate.
It's true, but we were talking about the movie Anchorman 2. In Los Angeles, they always, if there's a newscast going on or anything during the day and there's a police chase, they cut into programming all the time. Why? Everyone watches them. But no one would watch a plane landing safely. It's entertained, like a car chase is entertainment, and it's sad, really. But I think the media needs to highlight the positive. Like if you watch CNN or Fox or MSNBC, all they're going to talk about is Trump or Biden, or they could or should mix in a good story every hour at least, but they don't.
Yeah, yeah, because it feels if you watch it, like the sky is falling all the time. That's actually, I did see a story today. I'm not sure if you shared it, but I seen it on X about a lady who was old and then she like passed out and got ran over in a parking lot, like a Meijer parking lot.
I
She was
didn't.
like
Oh
80
no,
something. Oh, that
no,
wasn't you. Okay.
no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Is she okay, or
Oh no, she's dead.
she dead? They wrote to. Oh
Happy.
my.
That's what they said. Happy holidays. Grandma's dead. She got ran over by a Ford Explorer.
Reindeer, like, oh yeah.
That's like here's to brighten up the holiday spirit in case you guys are a little worried about it. Yeah, man, these questions are great, guys. You guys are doing a great job out there. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you're checking out Dave Bondy. You can see independent journalism at davebondy.locals.com, and you can see hard-hitting stories and not just the bad but the good at davebondy.locals.com. which is called Keeping It Real with Dave Bondy. It's, before we get out of here, I feel like this has been a great episode, and I really appreciate or coming on to my show. It's I was like so pumped when I seen you on that little clip where all those I was like, no, it's Dave Bondy. I was like, that's the guy who does my news. I was so pumped.
I need to do my own show. I've never fully explained. This is the first time that I've really on camera explained that, and yeah, my own company threw me under the bus with that. But Deadspin, they're the ones that edited, put that together. Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, I mean, it does. But you explained it. It's like, hey, it's not like you were just doing your job, which is almost like the famous last words. I was just doing my job,
If I would have known that every other anchor was reading it, I would have said hell no, because I would have known someone out there would have put all the clips together. And yeah, if I could go back and do it again, I would. And that's another reason why I left. The media was changing, and I was time to move on. Mostly it was because of my family. I worked 2 to midnight. I hardly ever saw family. That was pretty much the number one reason too.
Do you think that, like right now with the internet, that they're in kind of a position right now to maybe there becomes an independent journalism, or it's just a bunch of people in their studios at home just doing the news?
I don't know where it's going. I know the ratings like on local news are just dead. When I started working 8 years ago, maybe like 20,000 people would watch our 6 p.m. news. When I left, there was like 1,000 people watching, according to Nielsen. CNN now can't even get 500,000 at night watching them anymore. I don't like it though, also because everyone has if there's a left-wing content creator or a right-wing content creator, it's going to be kind of scary if there's no one kind of in the middle. And I do lean more on the conservative side, but I will still call out. I'll call out Trump. I'll call out, so I don't know where it's going to end up. I don't know. I think people have more choice. That's a good thing. But I think someone like Joe Rogan, I don't even think he thought he would be as popular. Tucker Carlson left Fox.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention him.
And now he is doing kind of what I'm doing, but he's going to make a lot more money at it. He's starting his own own company, charging like $9 a month. And yeah, and Fox, when he left, Fox got hurt big time.
Yeah, that was interesting that they fired him when he was the biggest draw that they had, and then he was just like, I'll just go on Twitter, I'll just go on X and just get millions of views.
He does, and I think he made about 25 million a year when he was at Fox, so money's probably not even an issue for him.
He's not worried. He's not worried. He's got some good hair too. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Well, any last words for the audience before we get out of here?
No, I'm just keeping an eye on my computer, updating real news. I just saw in here, former President Trump not eligible to be on the ballot in Colorado. So it's probably the Supreme Court's probably going to decide if he's going to be on the ballot next year. So that's going to be playing out. That's interesting. Yeah, no, everyone just try to question everything. And if you watch CNN all the time, turn on Fox. If you watch Fox, turn on CNN. I listen to everything. I like with countering viewpoints. I listen to stuff I may not agree with just to try to learn what other people are saying. I think a lot of people are stuck in their own echo chamber of something. Just try to listen to what the other side's saying. You don't have to agree to it, but at least you know where someone's coming from. That's about it.
I like that. And to add on to that, subscribe to Keeping It Real with Dave Bondy to get that unfiltered news straight from the horse's mouth right there.
And you're going to have to send me that. I will share. Are you on or only X, or what socials are you on?
Oh, I'm on. This is going to Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm on them all.
What's that event? Is it New Year's Eve, you said?
Yep. I'll send you the direct ticket link.
And I'll share that on my platforms as well.
And thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'll log off. If you need anything from me, just let me know. And if you have a hard-hitting story, I'll just retweet it. So, I mean, even though I only got like 1,000 followers on Twitter and they're all fake Pornhub models from friggin' Jacob Reddy, they're all...
I'll do the same. I'll help you grow as well. And when you're famous, will you, when you're famous and doing the Tonight Show or whatever, you need to be on my show then.
Well, hopefully before then, and then
I will have I will have you on my show soon. But when you're really famous, you need to remember me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing though. Like with the Tonight Show, that's the same thing as you're saying. The ratings, they're not there. I mean, they're mostly on Instagram. They clip them up and whatever. And
not like, I don't know, how old are you?
I am 35.
Okay, 35. Back in the day, like I was a David Letterman person versus Leno, and now it's just all they do is, if the comedians are politics, that's all they talk about. I'd like to have a little mix from like the Kimmel or any of them. Give me some stuff other than politics to joke about. That's all they do, it seems like.
Yeah, well, that's what people would think, that it's a government ran media. It was especially the late night shows with people are like, well, I feel like this is only one sided here. I don't know. I mean, I don't
like Letterman.
Don't quote me.
Letterman did stupid stuff like, how many guys dressed up as a bear can you fit in a hot dog shop, or weird, stupid stuff that was just funny. You don't have, I think, like comedians now. And have you ever, I don't know, I've watched some of your stuff, but I imagine, have you offended people, or have people told you they've been offended?
Yeah, well, I mean, usually people say that they're like, "Oh my gosh, you made my night. I've been feeling kind of sad, and I'm just had a great laugh, and this made me feel so good." But there has been times where I remember this one lady specifically. I'll never forget. In Midland, Michigan, she came up to me afterwards, and she looked at me and she said, "I just want you to know that you have ruined my night." And I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "I am sorry." And then my favorite line is, "This is the show, and you're not getting your money back." That's the bottom line.
I love it. Cool. Well, the time has flown. I have to go get ready, and it's trash night. I got to take out the trash.
Oh, yeah, us two in Midland. Thanks a lot, Dave. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you, sir.